Hello friends, welcome back to JK Rants and Reviews. I'm John, this is Caleb, and today we're going to be spoiling the new Scream, the Scream 5, Scream 2022, should have been Scream 5. So stupid. I was telling him at the beginning, I was like, what they should do is make this a direct reboot, or not. No, that's not what I was saying. I did not say this is what they should do. I'm saying maybe they are doing rebooting the whole thing from the first movie, and they would bring Randy back. That would make fans happy. Some fans, most fans, I think, they would welcome in a new franchise if it's good. They would delete 2, 3, and 4 if it was good.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the positives.
Dewey is always great to see Dewey. I would also have to argue having that voice back is really awesome to hear. It's been a while.
In the beginning, when it starts off real subtle, like your neighbor, and then all of a sudden it gets creepier and creepier and creepier and more intense, I really did like that. That was nice. That was new. I like that. Also, the voice modulator that was on him, and he was walking around. I was telling Caleb, I was like, if that's more in the movie, that'd be really cool to have more of a talking killer. We don't get that a lot.
Totally stolen from Arrow.
Right.
The gore is amazing. The soundtrack has a nice amount of callbacks to the original.
Subtle.
It wasn't over-drenched in comedy, but it was there.
Yeah, there were a few like very intense moments where they would make like a dumb joke, but then it kind of fits with like when he gets, well, you shot me in the leg, and he's like going down steps. I was like, oh, that's so bad, and then he turns out to be the killer. You're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
So it's fine. The comedy there didn't bug me. I would also have to say there were some awesome kills and some seriously painful moments, like stomping on an ankle.
Right. It was also nice to see people getting killed in the daytime, like just like you're not safe, it's gonna go down.
Okay,
when and wherever.
Broad daylight outside kill was like, wait, what?
I felt like it was a trap too. Like right when
I felt like it was
Judy
a trap.
Hicks was about a half a block away, I was like, oh no, it's a trap, and sure enough.
But I feel like I mean I figured she was gonna make it in the house. Like I didn't think it was gonna be like front step.
Right. This one was like, yeah, I'm going to get you outside. I'm going to get you in the open. It doesn't matter. You're going down. It seemed a lot vicious. Another thing I kind of like is that not everybody that just gets stabbed dies. Like, Dewey was like the only one that survived the first movie. I mean, Sidney got messed up a little bit. I guess Randy lived at the end, right? Okay, but in the beginning, the first character lives, right? Like at the end of a movie, it's like, okay, it's the end of the movie, you know, people live at the end of the movie compared to the beginning. Like, I do like that. It just was, was that completely staged to get to the third act though? Was that already thought of ahead of time? That'd be a lot of moving parts to think of. You could tell that these killers were very smart and they thought a lot of things out. A little too smart, a little too like brave, like that's, you know, probably getting into the negatives though, but anyway,
that about wraps up my positives.
Shot competently, everybody acted well. David Arquette, this is probably his best performance in all the Scream movies. He's really selling it, and it was also probably a bit because, you know, they separated in real life, and so I feel like maybe that added to my emotional connection to those characters because I like the actors, and you know, it's sad that their marriage didn't work out and everything that David Arquette went through. And so, anyway, it's very heartfelt, and I did attach myself to it. The reason for Sidney to come home seemed legit. Like I was like, how is she going to get there? And it does make sense. Like she has to stop running, she has to see me down. But man, did they double down on the cops are absolutely worthless. Like, no, let's not call a cop. Let's not have a cop follow us. Let's not like be deputized. No, we are going to go. We are going to kill these people. Like cops are worthless in this town.
Within 5 seconds, no, maybe 2 minutes of the movie opening, I turned over to him and I was like, "There's 3 numbers. Just dial 911." Like 911.
I do like how that they were like, you know, I'll kill Amber if you know, answer this blah blah blah, if you don't answer this correctly. So it did stop her. She had to maintain contact with that. I like the throwbacks. I like the attachments to the original. I like the speech that Randy's niece
Yeah.
gives, like, and then explaining everything and how people feel and the fandom and everything else like that. I like at the end how they touched on the fandom, because it can be toxic. It can be like there are some very loving franchise people that like us that sometimes you get crossed and you get very irritated. But anyway, I'm stretching now. I'm really looking for it. I'm looking for anything positive. Shot really well. Ghostface was really cool. There, not there, a little bit. I do like how I like the approach to this Ghostface. Yeah, you had the music. I'm stretching. Because I'm about to beat the bejeezers out of this movie. Anything else? We might have some in our negatives. We're going to get into the negatives. The rest of the movie, everything we didn't talk about, like, what a piece of crap. Like, really, Billy is her dad. Really? That is the most worthless backstory, piece of crap, sidetrack, like, red herring. What a piece of doo-doo.
That was a really easy, cheap writing tactic is, oh, well, he also had a kid. Well, then again, it's not like Scream 3's writing was just light years ahead of its time by any means.
It still fit, though.
Well, not really.
Like, the mom had a weird past. She was getting around, and it goes back.
It's still a stretch.
That movie at least fills in those blanks a lot better than this movie, where it's like, oh, he had a love interest. They got engaged. I was pregnant. He died.
It's
what?
Ever since the first film, it's a stretch and unnecessary.
Oh, God damn.
And I think the part that actually made me the most mad is at the end it says for Wes, and I'm like, you missed the mark.
You missed it hard.
I mean, it's not like he kept hitting it either, but at the same time, you really missed it.
This movie is done very well. I still don't like, and it makes sense that Amber was her friend, and so maybe she would have some kind of codes. I hope that houses aren't that easy to hack, where you can just lock and unlock houses like that. Still don't like that.
Well, it's hacked their phone.
Yeah.
So they had access to all of their...
But they didn't hack her phone. They hacked Amber's phone. They hacked Amber's phone. They cloned it. Weird. But they didn't hack the girl that lived there's phone. And I don't know. It doesn't matter. Somebody explain it to me if you're watching this and you get that. But that's dumb. The movie falls so hard on its face after Dewey dies. Let's get into Dewey dying, because we the spoilers from the friggin' trailer. Like, come on, like, who is putting together these freaking trailers? Are they only giving them like 4 minutes of footage, and they don't know the rest of the context, so they're just throwing everything out there?
I mean, I think everybody, even before they gave the trailer, knew somebody was going to die, and that the weakest link at this point was going to be Dewey for some reason.
I figured Gale.
I figured Dewey. I feel like most people I've seen said Dewey. The thing that sucks, so the thing they did right is they actually focused in and memorialized the character. A lot of films that give legacy characters a death lately, it's not a good one. It's quick, it's in and out, and that's it. That's all you have. The roll credits. They focused hard on this.
Yeah, they did. They were like, oh, he ain't coming back. It's not a flesh wound. He's done.
So I'll give that a positive. The negative.
Oh my God, man. He shoots him 3 times. Dewey shoots him 3 times in the chest, falls down, and then they just get up and walk off. Like, don't keep going. Like, this is your threat right there in your face. Finish it. And even before that, like, when he shoots at him and Ghostface ducks out of the way, he just gets the kids to the elevator and completely forgets that Ghostface is in the other room. Like, yeah. And he jumps out, like, and he almost freaking dies right there. Like, what's happening? Pay attention.
And not only that, the person who guts him front and back is 5 feet tall.
Is 5 foot, 120 pounds. I said this in our Facebook. I'm going to be pissed if it's a 5 foot something or 5 foot nothing chick. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. That girl was not in shape. She wasn't threatening. She was intense. But it felt like it felt like they were trying hard at the end because they had to sell it. I'm not buying it at all.
Now, if it had been the other killer who did it, then I would be like, I mean, it's still suspension of disbelief, but also a little more realistic.
Right. He's at least 6 foot-ish, right? Like, he's at least in shape-ish. Like, and he's like, but so you're telling me a 5 foot nothing gal gets shot in the chest 3 times, gets up, stabs Dewey front and back, and almost lifts him off the ground and, like, cuts him like 6 inches up on both sides? No.
While being able to look him in the eye?
come on. Like, yeah,
Eye level.
exactly. Like, stop using another person that's not the character's height. If you got to do something like this, just make all your characters in the cast the same height. I know it's stupid, but it works. Like, stop doing that. Pisses me off. Go ahead.
So, Scream. Sorry, my brain's blank at the moment.
So,
I have to say real quick, yeah, this goes into a negative. Just because you're aware that everything is playing on going back to the original source material doesn't mean that making fun of it made the movie smarter.
right.
At least with the first Scream, what it did, kind of being meta about horror as a whole, it was done intelligently. This is more like, we're going to do the same exact thing, but we're going to throw 2 jokes in there, so that makes it all better.
Well, it was so lame, too. Like, the gal who was being the Randy, like Randy's niece, she's on the couch watching the movie of him being stupid in the middle of a horror movie, and she's being stupid in the middle of a horror movie. Like, she's telling everybody else how to survive this, and she's being an idiot.
Yeah.
Everybody's all like, everybody's getting killed, and we're partying and drinking, and I'm going to get high and make out with this chick. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
No, it
Like,
doesn't make sense.
and then I get, like, let's get them out of town. Okay, great. Perfect. Nope, that didn't happen. We went to Stu Marker's house, which was wasted. Wasted. This gal just lived there and got excited and obsessed with the movies. Lame.
Okay, so
The motives are
Quick.
garbage.
quick 2 positives. Sorry, throwing us out of order here. Number 1, the Billy Loomis hallucinations were cool-ish until the last one.
Right. I thought she was going to snap and kill Gail, and that would have made
Yes.
probably a better movie.
Also, one of the killers was a little bit more difficult to figure out. I mean, it was between them and like 2 other people. They did a good job with that, but the other killer, I knew it was her as soon as she showed up on the screen. As soon as, it was way too much. It was way too easy to figure out.
Well, another positive, since you're going to jump in there, I'm going to say another positive, the body count. I was very happy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I said, there was a lot that got up, or there was a couple that got up and lived, but the body count was serious. Like, this movie was not wasting time going full deep.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so then we got Sydney and Gail coming back, and you're telling me that Sydney doesn't have, like, a police officer trunk full of guns and body armor? No, she's showing up, like I said in our Facebook video, she's showing up in a V-neck with a leather jacket, like, I don't understand. And like Gail's Gail's there too. She's been through this before, and she's wearing this little like shirt, a gun. I don't even know
Also,
if she had a gun.
how does everybody get that low body bleed out wound,
Yeah,
and then they don't bleed out to death?
right.
Every movie in the Scream franchise, somebody gets that and lives. In this one, all 3 of our survivors got it and lived.
Right. Oh, and then a really big negative was Tracy. I forgot her name already. The gal from the beginning who lives. She's in a wheelchair, and in the hospital, like her wheeling away, really good. Hospital horror is fantastic. But she can hardly move. She's wincing. She's hurt. She can't even move in a wheelchair.
An hour later, she's in crutches?
Now all of a sudden, she's a full-on ninja with crutches. Yeah, I'm like, what's happening here? Like, what? Like, how do you just shake that off and all of a sudden you are good, you are combat proficient, ready to go? Like, what?
Ugh.
What?
No.
The killers are absolute garbage juice. Like, once again, doing it for the fandom, to be
Which,
famous. Like,
that story arc, it's done.
they were reaching
finished.
so hard to sell it because they knew it was garbage. Like, you could tell they were pushing so hard.
I think my biggest negative is there's been so much fan pushback to get all of these legacy characters back for other films and for this. And the biggest name drop that everybody has wanted has been Stu.
Yeah.
And technically, it could have worked.
You did not need Gail in this. You did not need Sydney. You should have had Dewey still being the sheriff and have him investigating the murders, and then those other 2 stay away and bring them back in later if you needed to. But those legacy characters, you're right. I think Stu was the one. He was the one. Like I said, you have to go back to the original. You've got to nail it. This has to be more than just some Joe Blow character.
Nope.
Joe Blow, 5'0", and then some dude straight off the internet. Like, really, we've done this before. It's been done.
And
like,
the only big connection to the original that they tried to do was get you back into Stu's house, which, while was kind of cool for like 2 seconds, it was also like unnecessary.
and a Billy Loomis had a kid, and she's having flashes
Also
of him. Friggin' why?
Unnecessary.
Friggin' why? Like, have Stu in there and have him having flashes of Billy in his head. Like, how cool is that? Like, they're still killers together. I thought Stu was gonna come out of nowhere and be like the mastermind in the background, and he was the big one that killed.
No, movie
killed
was
Dewey at the
taking
end.
itself too seriously to do that.
Dude, this movie, I'm sorry, this movie is absolute garbage juice. I have no want to own it. I have no want to watch it again. I mean, this was a waste of time. What a piece of crap. Like, the ending is so terrible. Like, I liked her running on fire. That was cool, but like, dude.
I have to say this. I know a lot of people are huge Scream fans overall, the whole franchise.
It got me into horror. It's my favorite franchise.
Personally, I love the first Scream film, and I find all of the rest to be absolutely unnecessary. Are there enjoyable moments? Absolutely. This falls flat. It tried in the right places and didn't try in way too many more places. I don't know. I don't know if I like this or Scream 4 or Scream 3 the least. I mean, 3 and 4 are down there normally anyways, and this just happened to wind up among them. I enjoy Scream 2, but it's unnecessary, and it's hard to be that person who's like, well, if I don't find any of the sequels necessary, how do I rank them?
Howling 4 is definitely not necessary.
Hey,
Just saying.
Michael Myers is way cooler than Ghostface.
I'm not going to debate that. I'm just saying Halloween 4 is not necessary, and anything past really Friday 4 is not necessary.
The story arcs themselves are of unkillable monsters. This is of random killer who mimics other killer who mimics other killer who mimics
right, which
other
means
killer
it's
who mimics.
never ending. If we're just going to do this, we're going to pump out a crappy sequel every 10 years. That's why I said in our Facebook thing, I said it's got to be somebody important. It has to make sense. Make the killer not supernatural, but bring Stu back and make him larger than life. And he gets up to date with these new characters, and like that's how they get the technology. And like maybe we still could, but he needed to be in this movie to make anything work.
I'm sure that they're already pushing for the next one, and I feel like our new survivor, the big sister, is probably going to wind up being the killer.
I have no interest in seeing that.
But it's unnecessary at this point to keep bringing a new killer with the exact same motive every 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, it's exhausting, and what's really weird is I can defend this kind of crap in a lot of movies that should be bad or are meant to be like mid-tier films, like the Friday sequels or the Saw sequels, or like you can defend that, but this is really hard to defend.
Right, well, because the first movie was a masterpiece. It took itself seriously, it had fun, but it was a little scary, and it was hip. This movie was not hip.
Yeah.
This movie did have some thrills. It did keep me on the edge of my seat. I mean, it wasn't really scary, but I mean, it.
And I feel like that's also, this may be, I was watching an interview with somebody recently, and I don't remember who, but they were talking about the death of pop culture being relevant around 2008, 2009. The fact that it's hard to make a hip film now because culture's not as ingrained, like with the 90s, the blockbuster, the TV, the popcorn,
But 90s, like nostalgia is more hip and alive now than it's ever been, and they didn't cash on that at all.
I mean, they brought back one song.
Right, but they didn't like I don't know. Anyway, it's just at the end, like, guys,
it's I don't know. I can see why some people will enjoy the holy hell out of it, but I can also see why others will slam it to no end.
I'd let it go if Dewey not died. I'd have been like, it's blah.
If Dewey would have been killed by the other person, I could have worked with it. If Dewey had been killed by the other person, I would have put it above 3 and 4. At this point, I think it might be last place. I don't know.
It's pretty weak sauce. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go ahead and rank it. 1 is the best, 2, 3, 4, 5. They just get worse as they go. And it's still probably my favorite franchise. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Seed of Chucky is bad. I love the Child's Play franchise, though. Anyway, I would give this movie probably a 4
out of 10.
4 out of 10, and I'm being real. Like, there are some good times in it. There are some good moments. Like, there's some good shots. The camera work in this movie is probably the best in all the movies. Period. But and like I said, David Arquette was good, but man, did they just everybody else just.
I'm gonna go 5 out of 10. For the first half of the movie, I was able to have a fun time. Once Dewey was killed and the suspense was supposed to get heightened, you feel it a little, but for me, I wasn't that invested. I mean, now that Dewey's dead, no offense to the rest of the cast and crew, I'm not really there. And the fact that I knew that one of the killers was that small girl, which brings me back to Spiral. If you know the killer that quickly, it just loses its value. And that sucks, because if you saw the first Scream, I almost said Spiral, the first Scream around the time it came out, one of the things it did was mask its killers
right in your face.
Right in your face, and very well. Yes, there were some qualities that was like throughout the whole movie. It was like, oh, maybe. It
was pretty obvious it was them. I mean, it was so obvious.
But the first time you're watching it,
well, the first time you're watching it, you're taken back by how good it is and how different and special. Like, I was just so in love with the ride I was on that I couldn't pay attention to who the killer was. And I think that there wasn't enough good suspects in that first movie to where they had to shove it in your face, be like, I can't be them because they're putting it right in your face. Like,
yeah. And then as the movies went on, it started getting a little more ridiculous.
Well, and the problem is like, literally you could just zip, zip, like, especially with this, like, oh, I watch the movies and I want to kill everybody. So that doesn't make anybody more special than the other. No. Literally, you could have pasted anybody else in the movie pretty much and just had them be the killer because there's no actual tie. The Billy Loomis thing is so dumb. Oh my God, whoever wrote that needs to be slapped in the mouth. Just like in Click where they pause it and he farts in his mouth and slaps him.
I think the only... so, I think getting Billy Loomis back, it was nostalgic and fun for the first couple of times. But after that, you start realizing it's a slap in the face because it gets exhausting and it's
pointless.
There's no purpose unless they sequel this and she becomes the killer.
But then it's still pointless. I don't want to see her as a killer either. She's another 5'6", nothing. I don't want to see it.
It would at least serve a purpose.
It would, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am now officially really sick and tired of sequels to my beloved slashers. I'm gonna put Candyman up here. I'm gonna put Halloween Kills here, and I'm gonna put Scream all the way off the screen because it's a piece of doo-doo. Don't waste your money. Don't go see it. I hope I spoiled it for you and saved you the $10.
So, personally, I will say Candyman was the peak of horror sequels in the past couple years. Halloween Kills is the bottom, absolute bottom, because Halloween 2018 was so strong. And Scream is somewhere towards the bottom.
Dude, stop making sequels if you can't do it right. Like, I'm sorry, there were some escapes in this movie. There were some good routes you could have taken. And they just, nope, for the sake of time and to get to that worthless third act, let's go. God dang it. I would have rather Dewey would have been the killer. Like, I don't know. Head trauma.
No, God, no.
I don't know, man. It just,
in
what
the
a pile
end,
of piece of crap.
This movie will be a movie that plays in the background while I clean and don't pay attention to it just because it's got a cool killer in it.
I'll own Halloween Kills. I won't own this movie.
I'll own both.
I don't want it.
Eventually.
What's weird is, like, I liked Candyman the best, but I won't really probably buy the new Candyman. I'll just go back and watch the original Candyman because it gives me everything I want. It's
Oh, I can't wait to get my hands on the new Candyman.
I don't know. Comment down below. Well, it's a spoiler, so if they click on it, it should be fine. So yeah, I guess comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know some positives. Make us not dislike the movie as much, possibly. Or if you agree, let us know. If we missed something that we didn't talk about, let us know. If there's some kind of little hook that would make the movie better, let us know.
Also, maybe I'm just getting old.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's just we hold the originals in too high regard. Maybe like he was saying at the end. Yeah, maybe. Let us know what you guys think, man. Do all the YouTube stuff. Thanks for watching. Make sure and check us out on Facebook. Till next time, JK out.
Peace, love, and chicken grease.